the Provident Fund runs out quite quickly. Also, I made the decision that I was leaving the corporate, and I was so determined that I was doing it. I think I only told my parents that I was doing it 2 days before I handed in the resignation letter. I'd made the decision, no one was going to change my mind. Called them for breakfast. I was like, Mom, Dad, got some exciting news for you guys. And then they were like, oh, what's happening? You know, did you get a raise? Did you get a promotion? You know?
That because that very same 20-year-old who may have bold passions and convictions, who may be bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, and wants to change this beautiful country, will be shot down, stifled, and suppressed because he'll be told that his ideas are completely crazy and that he shouldn't pursue that. He should pursue the normal thing to do, which is get a good job or just follow the status quo. So today, I think each and every one of us in the room here.
In my talks, I like to give a story of my path until now. And this is a path that I believe is quite relatable for young people in primary school, high school, university, and even graduates in the working world today. Because I think it could be summed up by one word, and that one word is confused. It was a crazy path of rapper to slightly clueless to a potential doctor to physiology student to being desperate to work for Google to banker and now running my own business. So needless to say, I never expected this journey to turn out the way that it did, but I think there's a lot of beauty in that. And I think young people put way, way, way too much pressure on themselves when they're in high school or university to decide their whole life then and there, as if that one form that they fill in will determine the next 60 years of their future. So in my talks, I like to give a few key stories that reveal the lessons that I've learned in my life that I believe can really impact and help young people to just take things one step at a time and enjoy the journey. Examples of these stories are how I became a gangster rapper at the age of 12 and how that led me on a very interesting path. Second story is why Afrikaans stopped me from being able to get my dream job at Google in Dublin, Ireland, as crazy as that sounds. The third story is how going to work on a Saturday led to me becoming the ambassador for my organization and running the business that I run today. That's the story of one single email that changed my life. And the fourth story I like to tell is how getting dumped, how getting my heart broken on a Saturday morning led to me going to work for non-profit organizations in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil for 2 months. So after going through these stories and digging into the lessons behind them, I distill 4 key themes that I believe can impact young people today. The first thing is to not put too much pressure on yourself. The second is to step out of your comfort zone at any chance and opportunity you get. The third is to take opportunities even when they don't look like opportunities. The art of being opportunistic, essentially. And the fourth key lesson is to believe that you can impact many lives. Why can't it be you? You see, I tell them about a theory that I have that in life we're conditioned to kind of think like everyone else and to become cynical. But in my talks, I like to implore them to be unreasonable. There's a quote I like to give that says, "The reasonable man adapts himself to the world, but the unreasonable man adapts the world to himself. Therefore, all progress relies on the unreasonable man." So I really like to implore young adults to be unreasonable, to adapt the world to their wants, to adapt the world to their needs, their goals, and their dreams, and that the world is actually made for them.
And doing all these different things, how did you manage, to go into sales and go into digital marketing, and how do you begin to find processes where you can learn that and make them work for you as an entrepreneur?
Yeah, it's tricky because at first, when you come out of this corporate where previously you're working 9-10 hour days, and then your 4 hours in the evenings were dedicated to growing your startup, you obviously had no time, and now you go into a world where literally you wake up in the morning, you're like, wow, the world is my oyster. But like you said, there's still challenges of, cool, the world's your oyster, but you got to now make something of it. You still got to now learn the sales and the marketing and wear these different hats. And you won't just learn it by now watching, theoretical videos on YouTube and stuff. You actually have to go into the world and try. So what I found valuable was just organizing meetings with people, just organizing sales meetings with people that have been there, done it, just put myself out of my comfort zone, because if that meeting is booked in the calendar and I have to now try sell this business to someone, and even if I don't necessarily have that full business yet, but if I'm almost pretending like the business is further along than it is, then I have to make it happen. I have to learn sales on the spot. I have to learn marketing on the spot in the practical environment much better than if I was just like, okay, for the next month, I'm just going to dedicate it to watching YouTube videos and reading textbooks, and then maybe in Feb,
When it comes to taking that difficult decision to leave your job, often people would rather stay in their job and keep all parties happy in the partnership rather than pursue a dream. And I made a very, very, very difficult decision there, but I thought that it was the best decision.